All right, we have done 5.4a, 5.4b. Now it's time to put it all together. Now I know on this, right in the middle of the screen, there's going to be like a, you can see right here, there's this, for some reason there's a reflection, so I'm trying to make sure to write in that middle. So in case, part C, we have the quadratic formula, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. And today what we're going to do is we're going to work on how can I solve this? How can I figure out what values for x make this equation equal? All right, we did this by factoring already. Once again, today we're now going to take a different approach and look and see, all right, well, how can we do this with the quadratic formula? So, the quadratic formula, okay, is b, opposite of b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. This is the quadratic formula. We talked about how to get your a, b, and c values when we did discriminant. And once again, the discriminant you'll see is right inside here. Okay, the b squared minus 4ac. So we take this part of the discriminant and then we take the overall part to get our values. Okay, we've talked about discriminant, you cannot take the square root of negative. Okay, we take, in the square root of 0, if you add or subtract, you get 0. And if it's a positive, you take add this, subtract this, you get 2 solutions. So sometimes you wonder, well, how does that work? How do you get 2 solutions? Well, I want to show you graphically. Graphically, to get 2 solutions, you can sort of see, once again, that little glare is there, and we can't really get rid of it. But on this left one, you'll sort of see that this equation equals 0 at 2 spots. You get 2 solutions. When it comes down and it just touches right here, this would be 1 solution. I know you got that glare there. And over here, sometimes it never equals 0. So you can have 0 solutions. So right away you know if the discriminant is positive, it's going to look something like this, where it goes through twice. If the discriminant is 0, it's going to touch the graph somewhere. If the discriminant is negative, it never will equal 0. So those are your 3 situations. And that's what we looked at yesterday. Now, a lot of times if I'm teaching this live, I like to show you a quadratic video. It's amazing when you go through, and if you do a Google search for quadratic formula song, okay, you will end up getting 73,900 different videos. Now, I always have my favorite one that I've shown in class for probably the last 8 to 10 years. So I'll show you a brief one. I will copy that link, so if you want to watch the rest, you can see it. If you watch it, this song will get stuck in your head and you'll remember that quadratic formula. But you can see there's hundreds, thousands, 97,000 different music videos that will help you with memorizing the quadratic formula. So on the quiz, yes, you need to know the formula. Okay, today we're going to practice, all right, using the formula. Okay, how do I find out, if I want, once again, I'll stay away from this glare area. So if I want to solve this using the quadratic formula, okay, you have your notes in there. First step you need to do in quadratic formula is get it set equal to 0. Just like in discriminant, get it set equal to 0. This is set equal to 0. Next, just like with discriminant, identify your A, B, and C. So A in this case is 1, and there's a 1 there. B is negative 10, and C is 14. Now, remember that quadratic formula from this song. Opposite of B plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 4AC all over 2A. And once again, listen to that video you'll have this memorized. So now that I've got the quadratic formula up there, what I gotta do is I gotta fill that in. So I like to just say, all right, opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2a. So I like to put that there and then say, all right, well, let's fill in these values. Okay, I got them right here. So opposite of negative 10, and by doing this, I realize that this is actually going to be 10. I can't tell you how many people leave this as a negative 10. Okay, but it's the opposite of b, not b. And then I put a negative 10 in here. I always just write the positive value because when I square it, I'm going to get 100. Sometimes you put a negative 10, it can actually, when you put your calculator, it can mess up the answer because you typed it wrong. All right, why did I put 1 here? Should have put 1. So a is 1. So put that in here. And then c is 14. And then all over 2a, once again, a is 1. So now this is just like 5.4a. Okay? You know, so you can sort of see where we're working our way backwards. Here's the discriminant, and simplifying all this now is what I want to do. So just like what I talked about simplifying, let's deal with this. This will be positive 10 plus or minus square root. I like to do all this at once, so this would be 10 squared minus 4 times 1 times 14. So 100 minus 56, which would end up being 40. 56. So it would be 44 would be your answer. And then I take care of the bottom. You can use a calculator this. All over 2 times 1, which is 2. So now I want to simplify this. 44 is 2 times 22, 2 times 11. So notice how I have that pair of 2's. Okay, so I get 10 plus or minus the square root of 2 square root goes on the outside, 11 goes on the inside, all over 2. From our 4.5a lesson, we know now we split these up. So we get 10 over 2 plus or minus 2 squared 11 over 2. And then what I do is I get 5 plus or minus 2 divided 2 is 1 square root of 11. You can leave your answer like that. Once again, that does mean 5 plus square root 11, 5 minus square root 11, but you do not have to separate those. All right, so that's it. If you know the formula, we've done all these steps already. And we sort of see, yes, there's going to be 2 solutions because the discriminant is positive 44. All right, we will look at a couple more examples though. So, next problem, and once again, I'll stay away from writing where the glare is. All right, so if you haven't done so already, why don't you pause the video, see if you can get this done by yourself, and then we'll come back and we'll do it. So step 1, I need to get this equal to 0. So I need to move this over. I need to have the opposite both sides move this over. And I also need to move this 25 over. Okay, so when I move those over by adding the opposite, what I end up getting is 3 plus 1, that would be 4x squared, negative plus negative 20x, and then plus 25 equals 0. So step 1, set equals 0. Step 2, what is my A, my B, and my C equal to? Next, I can use the quadratic formula. So opposite of B plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 4AC all over 2A. Let's put those in. So negative 20 is B. Once again, I always put this as positive 20 just so it doesn't make the mistake. Put a 4 in here, 25 here, all over 2 times A, so that goes 4 there. All right, so now I go back and say, all right, well, how do we simplify? First, I like to deal with the opposite of that is positive 20. I like to simplify all of this at once. So 20 squared minus 4 times 4 times 25 would be 0, actually. You can do that in your calculator, don't have to do it in your head. 2 times 4 is 8. Okay, right away, see, I see the discriminant is 0. So as I move forward, this ends up being 20 plus or minus square root of 0 all over 8. Well, square root of 0 is just 0. So whether I add 0 or subtract 0, I get 20 over 8. This can now be simplified to be, divide top bottom by 4, 5 halves, or 2.5. And once again, discriminant 0, I have only one solution. That's what it means by having one solution. Now, I do expect, if you know the square root of 0, I expect you to simplify for it. Don't just leave it as plus or minus square root of 0. All right, one last example. And it's probably a good idea to pause the video, try this on your own, then go back and check. Step 1, set equal to 0. I'm subtracting 2 from both sides. So as I do that, I'll write this over as my clear, that would be negative x squared plus 2x minus 2 equals 0. Right. Your A, B, and C next. Turn this off so we don't have any glares. So A equals -1, B equals 2, C equals -2. So -1, 2, -2. So using this, opposite of B, plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 4AC all over 2A. We'll put these values in. So opposite of B, so 2 goes there, 2 goes there. A value is -1. -1, and C is -2. Alright, so as I move forward, once I write up the quadratic formula, first thing I'll do is take the opposite of this, is -2. 2 times -1 is -2. So now I've got to take care of all this in the radical. So let's see, so we get 4 minus 4, negative times negative is positive. Oh, once you get this, if there's a radical is negative, you can just write no solution. You don't have to do any more. So nice when that happens. No solution, done.